Hey guys, how's it going? Like Butter here, back with another Division video. I wanted to make like kind of an update video to show you guys what my inventory is looking like, because I've been having a lot of people in my stream hop in asking why I haven't done like a build video since the incursions came out. And the reason for that is because for those of you who follow me, you know that I'm a big PvP player. I am a mainly PvP player. You know, I like doing the incursions, I like doing the daily quests, stuff like that. But when I go into the Dark Zone, it's mainly to PvP. And, what the, hello? Alright, sorry, that guy was like begging. I probably sound a little bit nasally today, just bear with me guys. My allergies are killing me. The pollen is insane right now outside. Like my car was just covered with pollen to the fact, like to the point that you couldn't even really see, so just stick with me here. So the reason I haven't made a video is because I've been trying to figure out a gear set that would work in the PvP zone or in the Dark Zone. Like I said, I'm a huge PvP player, so I don't want to sacrifice a lot of stats for bonuses that are only going to be worth in PvE. So I wanted to show you guys my inventory, show me where this build is going, and what I expect to do in the future. So I am running the OGG, which, as most of you know, is considerably one of the strongest weapons in the game right now. They had a level 32 OGG blueprint for the first week. Now, a lot of people are confused about why the OGG blueprint isn't available in DZ03 anymore, and I want to explain that really quickly. So, when the game came out, you know, all of the vendors had a timer where it would say restock in, and it would tell you, you know, the vendors outside the Dark Zone and at safe houses would change daily, and then the vendors in the base of operations and the safe houses were supposed to change weekly, but they ended up not changing. Like the blueprints wouldn't switch out, and Massive wasn't really planning on doing that, but since so many people requested it, they actually put a rotation in the game where every single week it's going to rotate through different blueprints for different guns. So this is awesome. This is actually really good news. I know some of you guys are bummed out because the first week was amazing. It was the first wave M1A level 32 and the level 32 OGG A3, which aren't available anymore, but fortunately, you know, I had level 75 and I had enough funds to buy both of them, which you could see in my crit pulse build, I think, or no, I think it was my video where I went through all of the changes in the blueprints. I think that's what it was. So that's why those blueprints aren't available anymore. There is a first wave Vector, which I heard to be very good, and the other weapon, I'm not too sure. I think it's a pistol or something like that, but yeah. That's why the OGG blueprint isn't there anymore, unfortunately, but I think it will probably come around again soon. So my OGG, I had a pretty lucky roll on the critical hit chance, 25.5, which is the highest you can roll. 11.3k damage. It has brutal, fierce, and self-preserved. Now, I was like kind of happy with this roll, but if fierce was in this position here, as most of you know, the third talent, you don't need any requirements for the third talent. The third talent will be unlocked all the time. So if this was switched, I would have the stamina to use self-preserved, and fierce would be active, which would be awesome. But unfortunately, like I said, these two are flipped. If you're trying to get like a god roll, I would say brutal, deadly, responsive is probably the best you can get. And that third, you know, after brutal and deadly, that third talent is really up to you what your build's like. Now, if you have like a lot of health on kill and you're doing a sustain build, you might want self-preserved in your third slot. Or, you know, if you're running a skill power build, you might want, you know, one of the other ones. I don't know. But yeah, that's really just up to you. And, I am using a first wave M1A for my secondary, which is, this is bringing my gear score way down because it's a 163, which is a level 30, but I found this in the Dark Zone and I couldn't pass it up. 162% headshot damage. It has deadly, brutal, and talented. Talented isn't too great, but it actually fits really well with my build because I run low skill power. Basically, when I kill a target with this weapon, it increases skill power by 7.5% for 12.5 seconds. So when I'm killing something or someone with my first wave M1A, it's giving me skill power, so my lack of electronics is being balanced out, and I can heal for a lot, and my med kits heal for a lot, and it makes my my crit pulse even do more. So it's really awesome to have that there, even though it seems like not that useful. For my build specifically, it does. So this was just too good to pass up. I have another one, I think, here, which was really good. It has balanced and fierce. And then I think I had a SOCOM that has deadly, vicious, and balanced. So I have 3 really good rifles, but I think this one just does the most damage right now. But, you know, eventually I'll try to craft a level 32 first wave M1A with better talents. So, yeah, you can see our DPS went up quite a bit from the last time. Our health, I think, went down a tiny bit, and our skill power stayed about the same. Our pistol really doesn't matter. So these are the set items that I'm using. I'm still using a high-end vest. Now, there is a huge bug with the talent that is called Reckless. Now, Reckless, you're supposed to take 10% extra damage. Basically, you do 13% more damage, but you're supposed to take 10% more damage. So you're kind of trading higher damage for being a little bit squishier, you know, taking more damage, when in reality it's actually bugged. You're taking 10% less damage and you're doing 13% more damage. So the Reckless talent is completely broken. I know they're going to be fixing it soon, but if I were to put a talent in this slot, I would put Reckless. I've been trying to, you know, fix my chest piece with the Reckless talent, but I haven't found one that's good. You know, we got the pulse duration. This is all the same as it was. So this is where it starts getting like a little bit changed. Now, I am using the Sentry Call mask. Now, you may be asking, why am I using Sentry Call? And I'll explain it to you here in a second. So I ended up getting this for stamina, which is really good. The masks are the only things that can roll something other than firearms for the blueprints, at least. So like the Striker's mask and Sentry mask, you can roll. I think it'll tell you either, you know, firearms or stamina. I think the Striker's mask can't roll electronics. I'm not sure though. But for the knee pads, which we'll get to next, you can only roll firearms. So what I did is I had the stamina, and I think I re-rolled one of these. I think I re-rolled the minor attribute, which was something really bad, but it had pulse critical hit damage bonus, which fits my build. It has 12.5% exotic damage resilience, which is really good because exotic damage resilience is going to protect you from the splash damage on explosive bullets. It's going to protect you from pretty much anything that's not direct bullet damage. So that's really good to have there. I was at first going Strikers, but Strikers made me a little bit too glass cannon, so I decided to kind of switch to Sentry and see how that would work. But yeah, you guys can see there, I re-rolled the first aid and it didn't really work out. So this one didn't work out because it had support station healing, and it was electronics too, so it just didn't help me. And I think Nomad is just bad overall. I think Nomad might be good for like a solo player. If you like legit never play with anyone, you only play solo, I think it'd be okay. So let's go to the knee pads, which, like I said, the Strikers knee pads and the Sentry knee pads can only roll firearms. By the way, you get these blueprints in the base of operations. I don't know if I stated that. So this was a decent roll. The major attribute, damage to elites, isn't too great, but it does help in the dark zone, so, you know, I can't really blame it there. I had to re-roll the increased kill XP, which was in the disrupt resistance. So it was in this slot here. And so I couldn't roll damage to elites and that, but it had the 18% critical hit damage, which was good. It had scavenging, which, as most of you know, is bugged right now, as far as I know, so it's not really that big of a deal. But the shock resistance was good, and the pulse critical hit damage was nice. Now, the pulse critical hit damage on this is a little bit higher, but this item has a little bit lower armor and is more, you know, just straight up glass cannon. All right, so let's go over to the backpack. I'm still using my old backpack. When I was using my Strikers build, which was, like I said, pure glass cannon, which I'll go back to if we end up doing the incursion again, which I think we're going to be doing it a little bit later today on stream. I'm keeping it just for that, but it's not good for PvP, so I went back to the tactical pack since we PvP'd last night. But just to see the, like, my striker pack, critical hit damage 17%, 12% burn resist, which is good, 3% critical hit damage. Now the problem here is that we had 2 skill attributes, so I couldn't re-roll this because I needed to re-roll it for stamina because it was a firearms backpack, and if I had firearms instead of stamina, it just would have been really, really hard, and there was nothing to re-roll this for anyway, so ballistic shield damage is not that good, but it is whatever. So well, we decided to just keep on that. And I think my gloves, especially for PvP, that it is important to keep your gloves because the talents on the gloves are ridiculous. I think Savage is even better than this. Savage is like 13% higher crit chance on enemies that are out of cover, which is insane. And that can go over the 60% that you're capped at as well, which is just absolutely crazy. 36% critical hit damage, 6% critical hit chance, 11% health on kill, 8% post critical hit damage. It's high firearms, high armor. You really can't get better than those gloves, so I'll probably stick with those until we get something that's way, way better. The holster is a bit questionable. We have a striker's holster here, but it drops my skill power way down. You know, tacticians isn't something I'm interested in. That's a skill power build. But the reason I'm building Sentry's Call, as you can see here, the pulse critical hit damage is kind of nice, and to have it in 3 slots is good as well. The reason I'm trying to build Sentry is because I want to show you guys this. If you haven't noticed already, the Sentry set bonus for 4 pieces is absolutely ridiculous in the Dark Zone and in PvE. Headshots mark the enemy, increasing the damage inflicted on the target by 15% for a duration of 10 seconds each. A target can receive up to 3 marks. Now, what this means is all you have to do, especially with like an AUG or a Vector or any weapon that shoots a lot of bullets really fast, if you headshot your enemy, you are going to mark them so that your entire team can do 15% extra damage, and that stacks up to 3 times. So if you shoot someone in the Dark Zone 3 times in the head, they're going to be marked. Your entire team is going to be able to do 45% damage to them for 10 seconds. 45% extra damage on top of what you already do. And what's even more disgusting about this, if you have more than one person in your group that has Sentry's Call, you know, the set for 4, it stacks twice. So you're going to be doing 90% damage to this person that you marked. You're going to be able to shred him through defensive ult. If he's a tank, it's not going to matter. This needs to get patched, I believe. I think it needs to be nerfed down to maybe 15% only. You know, in PvP against players, and then have like a separate stat for PvE, because this is just ridiculous right now, and it's OP, and you can just tell when it happens. Like, you'll pop defensive ult and some dude will just shred you in half a second because he's got you marked. So best way to fight against that is pretty much just put your head between your legs and kiss your ass goodbye. Now you can actually strafe back and forth and outplay people if you're really smart, but I think this needs to get nerfed a little bit. I think they had PvE intentions in mind and didn't think people would build this for the Dark Zone, but it turns out it's pretty broken, and I think it's even better than Strikers. Someone came into my stream and made a really good point, and I thought it was interesting. You have to do, I think, hit them in the head 3 times to equal 45 consecutive shots with Strikers. So you have to hit someone with Strikers 45 times to be able to do the same damage that you're going to be doing when you mark someone. Now, that's insane. So I think Strikers is a little less good than Sentry's Call. The only positive of going Strikers is you can do 4 Strikers, 2 Sentry, which is nice, whereas 4 Sentry, 2 Strikers doesn't make much sense, because if you do 2 Strikers, you get the enemy armor damage, which only affects NPCs. It's not going to really help you much. So you're giving up those 2 talents for no reason. But if you do end up going, say you get like really good rolls on a bunch of striker gear and that fits your build perfectly, you can go, 4 strikers, and then the 2 sentries is going to help you because you're going to get the 30% headshot damage, which is going to be really nice. So that's 2 ways you can build. Right now I have strikers, and like I said, I have strikers and I have sentry. and I'm just trying to figure out what's better for PvP. So I just wanted to give you guys an update and let you guys know where I'm at with my build, why I haven't been, you know, posting a build video, an updated build video, because I've been trying to figure it out myself as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget, you can get level 32 mods, which I've been crafting recently. Yeah, right here. See the level 32 firearms mods. You can buy them in DZ03. I think they switched them out though, but they might be coming back. So keep an eye out for the firearms and stamina mods that are level 32, because if you start placing your level 31s in with 32s, or your level 30s with 32s, you're going to start seeing your stats boost even more on top of that. But hopefully this video helped you out. I just wanted to share with you guys, like I said, where I'm at with this whole build. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop the video a like and let me know what you guys think. What set items have you been realizing that work the best for you? And make sure to tell me why. You've been watching Like Butter, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Take care, everybody.